Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all have had a great Thursday, a great work week so far. There is a lot to discuss in this video. As I done the video this morning, I talked about all the model guidance from overnight and this morning. Well, we're going to do that in this video and some. We're going to talk about what's going on currently with the storm, as you can look at it right here on the satellite visual, and talk about the driving factors that could lead to rapid intensification as it gets into the Gulf of Mexico after crossing over Cuba, which, by the way, has tropical storm warnings in portions of Cuba right now. This is a dangerous situation. It looks like it's going to unfold, as it really has Tropical Storm Ida, which is what it's named now, really has its eyes set on Louisiana. It's going to also potentially could affect Texas, but it really could affect areas of Mississippi too, and then obviously get inland and affect other portions, well inland, states inland, and affect them with some nasty winds and rain. So we're going to break down what is going on. There's a lot to discuss. I don't want to just be that person who just goes over model runs. I want to discuss what's driving this as far as steering currents and just the atmospheric things in place that is driving Tropical Storm Ida and what will eventually obviously be Hurricane Ida. So we're going to break that down in this video. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. The video this morning did very well. So I just want to say thank you all for the amazing support. I've had a goal for several months now, and at first it didn't seem realistic, but I have a goal to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And it looks like y'all are making this happen for me. It's like a mini dream come true here for sure. And also I want to mention that I am a storm chaser, so I go out there and chase these things, and I do plan on chasing Ida. So there's also a way to donate. I have a PayPal in my bio, and that just basically supports my equipment. It supports me chasing, and there's also a way that you can join. It's a membership, and it's just like $10 a month. So I don't like talking about money, but there is a way to donate, because doing these videos and doing all this does take quite a bit of time, and it's just a way to get back what I put in. So thank y'all regardless for the amazing support and just viewing my stuff, because that is good enough on its own. So here we go. We have the satellite visual on what is Ida. There is a low-level circulation, even though it's not really visual here. You can't really visually see it, but it's right around in here. It was verified by the hurricane hunters earlier, about a couple hours ago. And but obviously the mid-level circulation, which is where all the big-time convective explosions are and where all the storms are, and basically the most heavy activity is back over Jamaica and north of Jamaica. And that is actually where tropical storm force winds were found. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. Here you go. So the center of circulation is right here. This is kind of the western tip of Jamaica, and the tropical storm force winds were found right in here. And you can pretty much see the abrupt shift and in wind direction right here, which tells us there is a low-level circulation right here. This is going to continue to develop here and get more pronounced, I really think, as we get into tomorrow morning. The Cayman Islands, you're going to have tropical storm conditions that really begin to move in this evening and then overnight. You're going to continue to deal with some nasty weather in areas of Jamaica, but it will gradually get better as you're waking up in tomorrow morning, most likely. But you can tell you got the 40 to 50 knot winds right here. That was warranted enough to make this a tropical storm. So looking forward, you look at this as a whole, you have our upper trough or upper level low that has dipped down here, and it's beginning to weaken. This was providing a little bit of shear, a little bit of dry air to the front flank of the storm. That, in sense, is kind of dissipating and basically going away. And you're eventually, and you already kind of have it a little bit, you're going to get into a more favorable upper level winds, and you're going to get what you call anticyclonic flow, which basically wraps around the opposite way and helps ventilate this storm, and basically makes it where there's a lot less shear, and basically you just get a lot more favorable conditions for rapid intensification and just intensification in general. So we look at the latest update from the National Hurricane Center from 5 p.m. There'll be another update at 8. So that's here shortly. It's moving northwest at 14 miles per hour, so not too fast, not too slow. And tropical storm warnings up in the Cayman Islands and the western areas of Cuba. Now, I want to introduce this. I found this, a friend on Twitter shot me this a little bit earlier this morning. This is really cool. It's called Zoom Earth, and basically I can zoom in here, and I can click this little notch right here, and it tells us at 2 p.m. August the 28th. This is going to become a hurricane around about. This is the predicted scenario, an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane. And we jump up here, and it's saying by August 29th, which is, what is that? I'm brain farting here, which is actually Sunday, about August 29th at 2 p.m., this is going to be a high-end Category 2 hurricane at 110 miles per hour as it's starting to get into the swamp areas just south of New Orleans. So in this area of New Orleans, right in here, so it's just shy of a major hurricane, which is Category 3 or higher. Right here would make it a 110-mile-per-hour storm, which is the highest end. Once you get to 115-mile-per-hour storm, that is a Category 3, which is considered a major status hurricane. So this is saying by 2 p.m. Sunday. The timeline has really, really sped up, guys. That's it. It makes it where there's not there's not just a lot of time to prepare now that the timeline is really sped up. And that is mainly because the northern piece of energy won out here, and the kind of the worst case scenario is beginning to unfold, it looks like. So this will continue to strengthen to a tropical storm. What we're going to do is go through all the model guidance and ensembles, and we're going to talk about what's steering this and what could lead to rapid intensification. This is going to have this over the Cayman Islands or just north of them as we're waking up tomorrow morning, making landfalls at high. It might be a high-end tropical storm for the western areas of Cuba. Then this is when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico for about 24 to 36 hours. And you notice it's a 987 millibar storm, well, about a 980 or so as we're getting into Saturday morning. At this point right here, this is where we can get rapid intensification. You notice this number as it begins to drop. Each time it drops, that's the more stronger of a storm we have. The lower millibar storm, the stronger storm we have. Well, the latest update from 18Z. One thing I've seen is, and please do not, when I say this, do not say, oh, it looks like it's getting a little bit better for us. But some of the operational runs have kind of backed off a little bit as this being some kind of doomsday Category 5 hurricane. But listen, Laura showed this same kind of stuff. And I do want to mention that Laura ended up, the one that ended up hitting Louisiana right here, Laura ended up verifying higher than initially forecast. And I really think this is going to be a scenario where this could happen here. So this has it making landfall as early as Saturday morning from the southeast swamp and coastal areas of Louisiana. One thing for me as a chaser, this is a very difficult area to chase as there's very low-lying areas, and storm surge, for example, for a Category 3 hurricane goes well over 100 miles inland. Say 9 foot of storm surge or something, or that is for an example, it goes well inland. So for storm chasing, it's not like parts of the Panhandle of Florida where you can just go right up to the coast. Like when I was in Mexico Beach, Florida, I could just drive straight up to the beach. It was really simple, easy access. It's not going to be the case in Louisiana. And it looks like it's really wanting to make landfall in Louisiana. So if you're in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, anywhere around that area, I really am starting to think y'all are going to get hurricane conditions as you get into your Sunday. This makes landfalls about a 960 millibar storm, which is probably pushing high in Category 2 into Category 3 status. Now you look at the latest GFS ensembles here. Basically it clusters them all up. Almost every single one of them haven't hit in the western tip of Cuba. And I tell you what, most of them have it hitting Louisiana. It looks like it's hitting it from a different angle than Laura. It's more coming in from the southeast to the northwest. Laura kind of did this and wrapped way out here and then went due north and plowed right into the Lake Charles area. This storm Ida will be moving like this. So that is a strong signal for anybody in Louisiana for sure. You look at the latest European model, and it's pretty much the same, guys. There's not much difference here. It's a little bit more west than it is for the GFS, but makes landfall a little bit later in time. This would be more so overnight Sunday into Monday as a Category 2 pushing Category 3 hurricane at this point. This will probably signify a Category 2 hurricane. Look at the ensembles here, and I'm trying to get away from showing the SpaghettiOs. I think they're probably pretty hard to see on the screen. This is probably much easier to see on the screen, but this is the line graph, if you will, showing the projected areas for the ensembles, for the EPS ensembles. And as you can tell, I would say 70%, at least 75% at least has this. It just really wants to eyeball here. It really wants to focus on Louisiana here. But you see them all recurving. This is what we have to watch inland for Mississippi, Tennessee. This is something we'll have to talk about in the future. But, you know, just because the impacts hit here, the impacts remain nasty. Heck, even in my home state in South Carolina, eventually the remnants of this could make for some nasty weather, so we have to watch out. So I think it's finally time that we show the HWRF model, because I tell you what, this model nailed nailed rapid intensification predicted scenarios last year with a few hurricanes, including Laura. So going forward here, now I will mention this one's always trying to do rapid intensification. So here it is. It shows a strengthening storm probably gets around almost sub 1,000 millibar as it makes landfall in Cuba as we get into overnight tomorrow night into Saturday. Then this gets into the Gulf of Mexico. And unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get most of the run here. It's going to go out to 72 hours before it's not done loading for the 18Z run. But notice at this point it's in the Gulf of Mexico. Notice this number right here is dropping pretty quickly. At this point you have, and this is as far as it goes right here. At this point, the HWRF model has a sub 960 millibar storm, making it definitely a major hurricane. This would probably be a Category 3 hurricane at this point. And it's approaching, like I said, more so from the southeast and moving almost west-northwest as it I think I'm going the wrong way here. Yeah, I was. So as it's bearing its way, more so, it looks like in this scenario with the HWRF model, it looks like it's wanting to make it more so landfall a little bit more west. So that might be a little bit better for areas in New Orleans, but you'll get the dirty side of the storm regardless. I really think New Orleans, unless this thing makes landfall way over here, I really think New Orleans, Baton Rouge area, I think y'all are going to get under the gun with this, because even if it makes landfall, say right here, you're going to get this dirty side right here. The dirty side is where you had the big tornado threat, where you had the most moisture. It's basically the right side of the storm. But this is a nasty looking hurricane. This is a major hurricane about to make landfall as we're getting more so into Monday morning in this scenario. So the timeline is anywhere from Sunday late morning into Monday morning. So there's still issues with timing here. There really is. So let's stop talking about the models here and look at the Gulf of Mexico. Look how warm it is. This system is going to do this, and it's going to cross over this 30 to 31 degrees Celsius sea surface temperatures. And there's even some 32 degrees Celsius sea surface temperatures, which is pushing 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me slow down. I'm mushing all my words together. That's pushing almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That is jet fuel for these tropical systems. It's a very dangerous setup here for rapid intensification. We'll talk a little bit why here. There's something called, and this is our system, called anticyclonic flow here, or anticyclonic flow. Basically, it creates its own atmosphere. It protects itself, and it kind of wraps around the hurricane like this. And basically, this promotes almost a no shear atmosphere. The only thing you have to watch out for that this might be competing with is a storm in the Eastern Pacific, which could also try to basically whip its outflow up here, which will promote shear on the western side of the storm. But we'll have to watch that, because that scenario has not completely went away. I mean, this area of shear right here is very close to the circulation of Ida. So that might, especially if it shifts a little bit more west, this might come into play as far as making this system not quite as strong. But this is a strong, very favorable upper level winds here that basically is promoting a very favorable atmosphere and ventilating this storm for rapid development here. You look at what's kind of steering the storm. It's pretty simple, really. You basically have a ridge of high pressure over the southeast, and it's sticking its nose out even areas of Florida. That's why it kind of puts Florida out the picture here, even the panhandle. This sticks its head out enough to protect the southeast. What it does is it rounds the base and moves from southeast to northwest around this southwest base of this ridge of high pressure. It tries to move towards the weakness, which is a little bit of troughing up here, or upper level low, and pretty much just takes that route. That's how these strong storms do. They're going to try to if you will, ride as close to the base of that ridge of high pressure as possible. But that's the update. It's pretty much going to happen at this point that the U.S. is going to get hit by a hurricane. So this is the real deal, folks. So prepare if you're especially in your, I keep wanting to call it Louisiana, New Orleans. Like New Orleans is a state or something. That just really wants to come out my mouth for some reason. But prepare if you're in the whole state of Louisiana and even in Mississippi, especially the southern areas of Mississippi. I really think I haven't mentioned you guys a lot, and I don't think a lot of people have. But you'll be on the dirty side of this storm, so you need to prepare from the southern half of Louisiana, really the whole state, and even areas of Alabama. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all stay safe out there and go on and prepare for the worst. So that's all I got. Thanks.